Okay, in this video, we're going to use the same revenues that we used before in our assumption box, but this time we're going to put the effort into deducting our expenses so that we can change our tax bill significantly. So I'm going to divide this particular cash flow into several different parts so that you can, come back to the individual ones that you're looking for. The first section will be cash deductions, which are things that we actually pay for. The next section will be non-cash depreciation deductions. The next section will be non-cash home office deduction. And the next section will be about self-employment tax deductions. And finally, temporary deductions like qualified business deductions or, different things that kind of come around from time to time as Congress votes on certain things. So let's take a look at the cash expenses. These are things we would actually pay for and then get to deduct as expenses. So if we looked at mileage here, that was one of the reasons in the control box I put that there was a certain amount of mileage we would drive. This is a deduction we can use. Now, some people will try to deduct gas receipts or oil change receipts or actually their car note. There are two different options you can choose from when it comes to deducting things related to your vehicle. You either deduct mileage or you deduct receipts, actual receipts, like things like gas and stuff. Now, there's some rules about it, but I'm going to tell you the vast majority of the time, mileage is the appropriate one to use. It's the better deal for you. But I'll make a video later on describing how to decide which is best for you. But for now, mileage. We're assuming that we go 2,548 miles in one particular year to and from our job sites, and we get a certain amount of deduction, and that amounts to $1,490.58. The rest of these, I'm going to give you some examples of things you can deduct and some things that I deduct from my music business. Microsoft Office has a subscription these days. It costs me $69 a year. I use it for business every day. I have a YouTube subscription. There are various levels of YouTube subscriptions that you can have. I have just the one that keeps me from having to listen to commercials. I work with YouTube quite a bit as a professional, and I don't need to be listening to all these commercials while I'm trying to get things done. If I'm going to mail anything, postage, renting equipment or space, sometimes you have to do that as a musician. Some of the licensing companies, if you happen to have the need to pay those guys. Any advertising, any studio time, any lodging if you happen to be on tour, a tour's travel meals, or any direct expenses there. I have a Spotify subscription and I deduct that because I don't need to be listening to commercials all day. I need to get to work. Website hosting is obvious. Photoshop. I do a lot of Photoshop stuff when it comes to my coursework. Repair and maintenance. Just this is an estimation here, but you have to fix guitars or reset the necks or just various things that have to happen. Job supplies like guitar strings and business cards. And once again, this is just an estimation here. I live in Florida, so I have to pay a lot of tolls as I go over bridges and to get to the resorts on the beach. Every year I have to renew my LLC. I deduct my internet because I'm using it for business. I deduct my cell phone because I use it for business. Amazon Prime, I deduct that because I can get free shipping on my supplies and various things I need. I have to pay business insurance. Not all of you have to do that, but the resorts that I work at require that I have a certain level of insurance. Cable services and phone and any type of utilities that I use for my business in December, I may not pay for till January, but I can still deduct them for the previous calendar year because those are expenses that fell within that calendar year. And I usually will hire somebody at least once or twice a year. I'm always trying to up my game with consulting, some of the best money I've ever spent. And all that adds up to the number that we've been dealing with here at $8,789.58. Okay, in the next section, we're going to look at some non-cash depreciation deductions for our assets we buy.